Hello and welcome. My name is Marcos and this is Self Psychology. Welcome. Now, in this series of couples, we've spoken about finding a mate, meeting someone. We've spoken about keeping the relationship healthy. And now we're going to talk about if the relationship is not healthy, what is it that you can do? Finally, the next time, we'll finish up this series with a talk about what do you do after the relationship. So if you determine that this relationship is not healthy, how do you stay away? Okay, and how do you not make this a abusive slash addictive kind of relationship, but a transition, something where you could go on. Now, before we get into breaking up, which is the name of this podcast, I want to mention real briefly that I will produce a podcast real soon because we're linking up, we're teaming up with Audible.com so that Audible.com can offer books, audio books, for you to listen to. Audio books are something really useful in our busy lives, whether you're on the subway, whether you're walking to work, whether you're on the gym. A lot of people use audiobooks to listen to books that they haven't been able to read. So why don't we start talking about couples. Now, when you're in a relationship, there are two things that you absolutely need, okay? And people argue with me all the time if it's absolutely a need, but you decide that for yourself. And the two things I'm talking about are trust and respect, okay? So we as humans, in a committed relationship, we need to be able to trust our partner. Okay, we need to be able to know that this person is telling us the truth, right? We need to be able to know that when something occurs in our lives, that this person is going to be there to support us. Right? We need to be able to count on this person. It's sort of like an extension of ourselves, someone who's very close to us that will be there when we need it. That's trust. Now, keep in mind that trust doesn't mean monogamous relationship, okay? In different cultures, in different relationships, in different societies, people define their relationships the way they choose to define it, okay? So I'm not talking about the partners having non-monogamous relationship, being with other people. That's not what I'm talking about here, because you could still have a trusting relationship and in a non-monogamous relationship. And the way you do that is, like I said, whether it's culturally, society, or even relationship driven, you agree to it. So there's the trust factor, okay? What I'm talking about trust is more when you need somebody there by your side that you can count on for support, and essentially not to lie to you. That the person can be totally honest with you no matter what the consequences are. The second thing is respect, okay? In a relationship, in my opinion, we need respect. Now, if the partner disrespects you, or if you disrespect your partner, then do you really have a relationship? Okay, and what are some of the ways that you can disrespect each other? One is by lying. That's a form of disrespect. Another form of disrespect is verbal abuse, physical abuse, or sexual abuse. These are ways that you're disrespecting another person. Now, let's take a look at the word disrespect, okay? It's the opposite, or the lack of respect, the lack of looking at this person as a viable, valuable, worthy human being, okay? If you don't see this person as a valuable human being and you make this apparent, then do you really have a relationship? Often I'll go to a venue and I'll listen to people talk about their partners, right? Just in a social setting. And they'll talk about their partners and say, oh, my partner is horrible in bed, or my partner doesn't know how to be a mother, or my partner um, is always lying, or my partner is this, or my partner is that. Now, is the person respecting their partner by talking about their relationship to others? That's a form of disrespect. And if that is you, then you need to take a look at that. And you're either going to accept it, right? And say, okay, I disrespect my partner, and I accept it, and that's fine. I agree to it. I'm okay with it. Or you work on changing it. Either way, the important thing is to understand what is it that you do, to accept it. Okay? And the way we do that is to be mindful. Okay? To be mindful of every day when we're interacting with people, with ourselves, and with our partners. Okay? We're mindful of what we're saying. We're mindful of what we're thinking. We're mindful of what we're behaving, of what we're feeling. Okay? All these things we want to be aware of so that we can take a look at it and we can see if it's healthy or not healthy. Now, assuming your relationship doesn't have trust and or respect, then you want to take a look at it and you want to say, is this relationship healthy and worthy of continuing on? Okay? One of the good resources that I've seen in the past is Dr. Michael Broder's inventory of can I save my relationship? I forget the exact name of the inventory, but it's a question. It's about 50 questions where you answer, I think it's yes or no, and it assesses if your relationship is salvageable. Okay? Can your relationship be saved? And so I recommend, the link is on the bottom of the screen. I recommend you take a look at that and you take the inventory, you take the exam, and then you take a look at it and you see if your relationship can be saved. And if your relationship can be saved, what I recommend that you do is that you find yourself a good couples therapist. And no matter what the expense is, how much you have to sacrifice, but you get yourself out there and you work on your relationship. It's worth it. It definitely is worth it. Now, some partners may not be willing to go to couples therapy, and that's fine. Then you would go for yourself. You would go to individual therapy, and you would work on fixing what's not right about your relationship, or making your relationship a little more healthy. Now, if you've determined that your relationship is unsalvageable, right, that it can't be saved, then what you want to do is find yourself a therapist so that that therapist can help you through the transition of breaking up. Okay, and we'll talk about staying broken up in the next segment. But what I will say now is that it's very important for you to accept the reality of the present moment. It's very important for you to accept life as it is today, right? So whether it's that your relationship is good, it's healthy, or it's not healthy and you need to separate, And even if you need to separate because you've taken the inventory and it says, well, you can't save your relationship, and you choose to stay in the relationship, that's fine as long as you accept it. Okay, accepting it is key. You can stay in that relationship for another 2 years, another 5 years, another 10 years, right? As long as you accept it, as long as you know that the relationship is unhealthy and you made a decision to stay in it for whatever reason. There are reasons that people stay in relationships when it's not healthy, whether it's financial reasons, whether it's immigration reasons, whether it's cultural reasons. There are many reasons people stay in relationships. Now, if none of those things are pertinent in your situation, then as I said, I think it's really important for you to get someone, a professional, that can help you through the transition of separating. And I tell you why, because when you separate from someone, when you break up with someone, you automatically start looking at other people and comparing them to your partner, right? Now, how nutty is that? You've been with your partner for 2 years, for 5 years, for 10 years, and you're comparing them to someone who you just met a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a month. You cannot compare them, okay? Each individual is different. Now, another reason people don't break up, probably the main reason people don't break up, is because they don't want to go through the trouble of finding someone else, okay? Which is fine, as long as you accept it, okay? As long as you accept that your relationship is unhealthy, you should probably be broken up, you should probably be with someone else, but you choose not to because it's too difficult. You don't want to start over again. However, for those of you who do make the decision to break up and move forward with your life, you can expect that the transition will be very difficult. It's going to be a loss, okay? Anytime you leave someone, something, a job, a person, a location, it's a removal, it's a minimizing of your domain, okay? It's taking something away from your life that you had before. And anytime you pull something away, whether you lose an arm, a leg, your health, your house, whatever the case may be, you're very susceptible to depression. And that's why it's very important for you to find someone that can help you through this transition. Okay? I hope this was helpful. Live healthy, live happy, and I'll see you here next time.